Hello, good afternoon, friends. Uh, Yesterday, there was a big announcement by the government on GST revamp, the reforms that everybody was waiting for, which has come as a pre-Diwali gift to all. So we'll be talking today, on the implications that this GST rate cut will have on various sectors. So we have with us Mr. Sunil Subramaniam, who is our strategic advisor. So he'll be talking about which sectors will have major impact due to this rate cut, and what should be the strategy going ahead for all of us. Over to you, Mr. Sunil.
Hi.
Welcome to
Thank
the
you.
webinar.
Thank you, Rajnish, and good day to all of you. So, as you can see from the broad smile on mine and Rajnish's face, this has been a good day. I would say a game-changing day. The reason is that though Mr. Modi did announce these things on the 15th August speech, there were two, three doubts in the mind. Key one is, did he really mean what he said, or what is a more of a PR thing? Though when you talk on the Independence Day speech, you're speaking mega things, but ground level, whether second, as you know, India is ruled by opposition in some states and BJP in some states, India in some states. So, to some extent, would the council of GST council be able to approve everything? Because there was a revenue loss to the states involved. And the third thing, of course, is the fact is that timeline of implementation. So these meetings, typical bureaucrats, they will meet them, another meeting, and then the whole thing will fizzle out. But I think yesterday, there was supposed to be a 2-day meeting concluded in one day, and
Right.
everybody supported it. So I think to some extent we may need to thank Mr. Donald Trump, because he put this tariff, and that threat has brought the nation together. So I think that the first thing is that we are showing a committed response. I think the big positive, the quickness of the decision, and a lot of simplification of the GST is also being incorporated in this. That's number one. Second thing is, why is this so very important? Because if you see, India has been chugging along at a 6.5% growth rate post COVID itself, right? We know this tariff came, and various people said between 30 basis points to 60, 70 basis points GDP may get affected. But more importantly, whatever GDP growth we had achieved, and I'm going to speak quickly here, was due to government capex expenditure. And after COVID, when the income came from this government capex and the drive, it largely went to a very polarized group. So the top 10% of the population was controlling 60% of the wealth and 70% of the wealth. So what happened is a very polarized, the mass market. So there is something called as a K-shaped recovery was happening. That is
Right.
incomes. K means, this is shape. Some people went up, some people went down. This K-shaped income was reflecting in K-shaped consumption. So what was happening was the costly things were selling, big houses, big cars, but the mass market was suffering. Okay, so because of that, there was a second effect, that private capex was not going up. Because when volume products don't sell, the capacity utilization gets stuck. So private capex, only government capex was pushing forward. So the three legs of the economy, right? Government capex, private capex, consumption, only one leg was firing, and we achieved 6%, 6.5%. Now tariff came, and that was a little bit of a jatka. So this move, which the government realized at the beginning of the year, that somehow mass market consumption has to be boosted, started with the 1 lakh crore tax giveaway in the budget. Then
Right.
Mr. Governor who came, Reserve Bank Governor, he came, he cut 100 basis points interest rate, gave a lot of liquidity, and gave a CRR cut to the banking system, which in fact from day after tomorrow, it starts getting implemented. So these monetary and fiscal policy together, this was the third thing which completed it, in the sense that now the government has brought down the entry level products prices dramatically, whether it is two-wheelers, whether it's entry level cars, whether it's daily soap, comb, shampoo that you use, to your health insurance premium. So a very wide ranging and far reaching impact. So I would call this a GST bazooka, to the extent that it has come through. And so while you look at it from this perspective, for me, this is a trigger for two important things which should make you very positive about the capital markets. First is that this trigger will lead to a growth in the consumption, capacity utilization, and private capex. So over the next 1.5 years, the growth path is now clearly laid up, right? It may take aage piche, but because they brought the timing so fast on September 22nd, you can get a Navratri festival, a Diwali festival, and a Christmas festival, all benefiting from this boom. So this trigger is a multi-pronged trigger which will last for quite a long time. And whatever the tariffs negative effect for the year is, can compensate. There is a loss of revenue to the government, but I'm sure that they have seen the calculations of how much is the surplus to the fiscal deficit, and think there is no worry about the fiscal deficit slippage, if at all. Why I bring this point is, the second important point here is, after the 15th August announcement, despite S&P upgrading India, despite good monsoon, FIIs have still not come to our market. They have been selling every day, little by little. Not a very huge sales, but 1,500 crores, 1,000, 2,000 crores every day they are selling. I hope that this will now prove the trigger, because if the government is going to maintain the fiscal path, at the same time boost the consumption and the GDP growth, then our status as the fastest growing economy will be strengthened. And I hope that in the coming days, with a Fed rate cut also in the possibility there, the FII return will take this market to new highs. So over a 1 year period, you have two important things happening. One, a multi-layered, multi-sector effect on the economy, and second is an FII return. See, today our market, whatever it is, there is a DII support which has kept it from falling, and little bit it rises at times when some good news comes. But really, FII coming is what will take this to the next level, like a rocket launch. So the conditions are now becoming more and more clear, right, for that to happen. Yes, the icing on the cake will be that if there is a solution to this Russia-Ukraine war, Mr. Trump and his Nobel Prize, and those things, if they come, then the gates will be, floodgates will be opened. So the reason I point this out is, today you were tempted, and even Rajnish mentioned, okay, which sectors to look at. I would say, don't bother about sectors. Why I'm saying this is very, very simple. I will give it to you. Is that after August 15, domestic fund managers already been buying these consumption-related sectors. So already some amount of rally has happened. A little legs are left there, but largely this is in the price. The discounting is there. So now just going and chasing behind a consumption, you may not see. But whereas I'll point out certain interesting factors. One, you should probably look at the capital goods cycle now, because you are looking to create wealth over a year, 2 years, and 3 years, right? So
Because
buy
the
what is not
consumption,
very visible. So
because
so
of the
slightly.
consumption demand, private capex will come in.
So
So,
buy that before everybody comes and realizes that. So one is, we have a
right.
contract. Second, think about that. The nature of that capital goods will be very different from the past, because past was government capex, needed to be support with cement, steel, building materials, those kind of infra.
Power
But the
sector
new
bigger.
one, correct. But now what is going to happen is going to be the engineering capex. What is going to be
Okay.
is building factories, building the machinery for the expansion, right? So that's an entirely different type of a capex story, which you have, which will now take legs. And third thing, ultimately, these are all executed by small cap, mid cap, MSME, SME. Who is going to finance them? It is going to be the public sector
Yes.
banks.
Public
Yes,
sector and
public sector,
NBFC.
because they are the ones who know this segment. Your private sector banks, your Bajaj finances, your HDFC bank, they don't go to these high risk segments. But that financing, the public sector banks will take the load. And mind you, that financing comes at 12, 13, 14%. So their net interest margin also will widen, their loan book also will grow, not immediately visible, but if you should have a slightly longer outlook. So why I'm saying this again, I'm pointing, it's a kind of contrabat. So first is, like I said, industrials, engineering, those.
Goods
Second,
engineering,
third
PSU.
contraband, which may surprise you, are actually sin goods. Now you'll say, what is sir saying? Sin goods have been punished with 40%. He's saying, take a contra. I'll tell you why. Because sin goods are being taxed for a certain reason. Because if you tax a certain product and the demand goes down, the purpose of the tax is lost.
Right.
प्राइस बढ़ता है क्वांटिटी गिरता है बट सिन गुड्स आर inelastic. In economics there is a term called price elasticity, यानी किसी का दाम बढ़ जाए तो डिमांड गिरता है, इलास्टिक है रबर बैंड की तरह.
Right.
इन इलास्टिक माने जितना भी दाम बढ़ाओ उसकी डिमांड गिरती नहीं है. जैसे सिगरेट्स हुआ, जैसे तंबाकू हुआ, गुटखा खाने वाला कम गुटखा नहीं
नहीं
खाएगा.
खाएंगे, bad habits.
महंगी गाड़ी 350 प्लस सीसी बाइक, Triumph motorcycle, Harley Davidson. You think just because some 10% tax is going to stop? बड़ी गाड़ी खरीदने वाला, nobody. So there, that is the cash cow for the government, because they know that कितना भी उस पे दाम लगा दो टैक्स, डिमांड तो उसका बढ़ता ही रहेगा. So market में जो भी उसका negative reaction है is a buying opportunity, because sin goods are inelastic in demand. So I would be a contra buyer in the sin goods space today, right? So why I'm saying this is, hence, as an individual investor, it's very hard for you, because a company will be making both entry level vehicles as well as the higher vehicles. So you can't pick and choose that this company that way. But any company which gets impacted because of these kind of a read by the market is a good buy. So what I'm saying is, diversified portfolio is still the mantra that I would say. Do not go chasing sectors because of today, because what this decision has done is reinforce India's growth story, made the door clear for an FII return today, tomorrow, day after, when it's only a matter of timing. But you have to buy before they come. Then only you
Right.
will make your maximum money. So stay with your asset allocation, keep your staggered nature, because volatility will always be there, things will always keep happening. Keep it that, but keep it diversification, and hence multi-cap funds, which are large,
Multi-
mid, small, multi-asset funds. But remember, still gold and silver still continue to be in demand, because in a Fed rate cut is likely on the pipeline, dollar will weaken, gold will strengthen. So today I would say reinforces, though your temptation will be to go chase certain sectors because of the announcement, it reinforces that this has actually given a boost to overall GDP growth and a broad range across the market. Hence, stay diversified, stay staggered with your approach, keep the medium term outlook.
Vertical level. Right. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. So, what do you feel
Thank
about the healthcare insurance sector? Because insurance, mein the GST was 18% and now it is gone, to nil. So, you feel it will increase a lot of, policies increase and people will go and start buying now?
I, on paper, yes, but my worry is about what the insurance companies will do is they'll find some way to increase the premium, because
Ah.
their costs are going up because they don't get input tax credit.
Oh,
So
okay. Yeah.
their
So, they will not
margins will
benefit
be
much.
so they, while the GST will not be there, they will somehow do some actuarial calculations and say, okay. So ultimately, I want to wait and see that actually ground level में is the
कितना वो
premium
करते हैं?
होता है. Then only the penetration. So let's wait and see how the insurance companies respond. And now there again, do you want to wear the hat of an investor, or do you want to wear the hat of the public man? Why I'm saying, as a public man, you may want the cost to come down. As an investor in insurance company, you want them not to pass it on to protect their margins and EPS growth.
Yeah,
So you have a
definitely.
dilemma. That's how you want to look at it.
True, true. And even for, I think, farm and agriculture sector, it will be very good because tractors, tires, pesticides, all the farm equipments,
So
GST has been cut.
that was a pleasant surprise which the market had not read. I think,
Yeah,
and given the importance for India of the entire rural space, this will not only boost demand for those things, but it will also give more money in the hands of the farmers and have a boost
farmers.
for rural demand. So I think this
Right.
is a
So,
very good deal. That's something that was out of the bolt from the blue. I think the market had not read that. The second was cement. I think the huge cut in cement, because it's a very thin margin, high operating leverage industry. So
mm.
cement, it suddenly turned it very positive. Again, market dynamics will decide how much of this goes in actual cement prices, how much goes to their margins. So I say
Right.
that the stock market is the best place to be in, because if they pass it on and demand grows, it's good. If they don't pass it on and their margins go up and their EPS go up, it's good. So
Both ways. It will benefit. Sure, sure. Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much
thank
again for
you.
your
All the
time.
very best. Yeah.
Thank you,
Happy
sir.
investing.